And that's when he went and talked to her. And then he goes, "That's a good girl." And I was like, I literally went, "Oh my God." We're sitting on the couch watching it, and Christopher goes, "Yeah." And I was like, woo! I was like, that was hot. I was like, okay.
Oh my God.
This show is spicy.
We try to not talk during the episodes, and last night was an exception. Because I was like every good female mechanic, now go on, fix it. Because it was harsh. It was like, "That's a good girl."
Yeah, but it was hot. In that way. Like, there's a way of saying it, and he said it just exactly in that way. And I was like, "Whoa." Yes, I will go fix it.
It's the One Season Wonder podcast with Christopher, Jamison, and Talon. Welcome back to One Season Wonder, where we dive into the shows that didn't last but still left their mark. We're past the halfway point of Firefly, and today we're looking at one of the most beloved episodes, Out of Gas. This one's got tension, heartbreak, and some of the best character moments in the whole series. I'm Talon.
And I'm Jamison.
And I'm Christopher.
So buckle up and let's dig into why Out of Gas still resonates with fans. This is a Christopher episode. Take it away.
Hello, everybody. So yeah, this was one of the highest rated, or it was the highest rated episode on IMDb. Episode starts with the ship floating just in space. And like I said, it has nothing to do with, it's not accurate because the ship wouldn't just stop in space. There's nothing to prevent.
Stop it. Yeah.
Right.
No friction out there either.
So then it goes immediately to Mal falling and on the grate and everything, oh, what's going on? Whatever. So flashback. He's showing Zoe the ship that he just bought. And there's a echo, I guess you'd call it, of this episode's mantra, but treat her right. Ship like this will be with you for the rest of your life.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's echoing. He's showing Zoe. I guess Zoe. It never really went into how he got Zoe.
They were
which
together.
I was.
They fought together in the war.
Oh, I guess. Yeah. Okay. That's fair.
I just don't remember.
Yeah, because that was the first episode, right?
That's a good point. Okay, so that's fair. So I guess they recruited with that or whatever.
Yeah.
But he's showing Zoe the ship, and Zoe's she curses in Chinese it's a piece of shit,
right.
More or less, right? So he's no, you just don't have imagination. This is a great choice for us. He talks about the freedom of being able to pick up other jobs and do it as they want. They're not like they were in the army, under orders or whatever. I skipped this part, but I thought it was cool. The third part being back, the flashback was all in yellow tint.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to see which part, which was one of the things they talked about. It was very easy to follow where you were at in the story.
I also feel like they kind of, especially at the last scene, I felt like they did something to try and make him look a little, he looks old, but he looked a little younger, a little bit. So
a little bit more makeup.
Maybe some sort of editing they did. Putting makeup on him for it. I think they did some kind of weird.
Right. But it was cool because it was very clear where we were at in the story versus the flashbacks he's having to his immediate trouble of wandering around the ship to what led up to that part of the ship. So he's showing Zoe, and Zoe is literally just it's a piece of shit.
Right.
And he's you haven't even seen the rest of it, but she didn't care. So walking around. After that, goes back to present day, I'll say. Yeah, it goes back to him bleeding on the floor and everything. In this episode, just to preface everything, I feel it's very him focused. It's all about his decisions, what he's doing, and his experiences with the whole crew. I think it emphasizes the kind of leader he is, which the second time, the first time I didn't catch anything. But the second time I really liked because it shows he's a very it's all about the crew and the people, and he's gonna make the hard decision to do it regardless. Flashes to them all at dinner. They're all having a really good time. They're laughing or whatever. Shepard is telling a story about whatever it was.
Something funny. I wish they had told us the whole story because I want to know what the funny thing was. But yeah, about somebody you worked with at the Abbey, another preacher or whatever. There was a funny story about it. And everybody actually really liked that story. Even Jane was laughing heartily at it.
Yeah.
Which I actually thought it's kind of funny. How do you write something like that to be in the moment kind of funny?
They may have off camera maybe said something funny or talked about something funny so that they would
No, like,
laugh
okay, go.
about it. Yeah.
Maybe so.
Or
But-
they're good at laughing and acting like they're laughing.
Almost like they're paid for it.
Yeah, they are. They are actors. That's
Right. So they're talking about this funny story or whatever. Wash comes in. He's missed everything.
Mhm.
Which I'm going to go ahead and say Wash is a bitch. I don't like him this episode.
You don't like him any episode.
Really? Okay, good. Stayed consistent. Yeah, I don't like him. Yeah, I was not a fan this whole time.
Well, he was pretty stressed out. His wife could be dead.
Well, we'll get to that part,
Okay.
but I don't like him. I still only like Jane.
You're like
That's
one
it.
person.
Every time he does this, I just hope he put the little Dory right here somewhere.
I need to start doing that. I forget.
Yeah.
Wash comes in. He's left out. He was doing some shit up there. He's like, "What?"
He was maybe flying.
Well, he was.
Yeah,
the vessel with them.
Mel had a very specific course he wanted to take so they could avoid the alliance.
right.
And so he was up there trying to set up that course and get it set up so that it would just, on its own.
Mhm.
Take that course kind of out of the middle of nowhere and around.
Which, not to nerd out on Star Wars, but Star Wars time.
Every episode, we have to have our little block. This block is brought to you by Star Wars.
I might have said this before. I don't know.
Probably.
Guys. So, about like being the fastest in the galaxy, like how they used to race and do spaceships and stuff, how it wasn't necessarily about just the fastest ship, but the navigation of it all.
Mhm.
Did I say
No,
that?
that's-
Sick. It was a YouTube video then. But it wasn't about just having the biggest engine on the fastest ship. It was about how you navigate around space. So, related to that, he told him, like, chart a very uncorded path under the radar, under everything. Don't want no one to know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars. Kaylee goes into, okay, Simon, now it's your turn to tell a funny story. And Simon's awkward as shit. He's just weird. He starts like scrambling for things. But really, it's a thing to distract him because Kaylee goes and gets him a birthday cake.
Made out of dinner.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't even know. Why would you put chocolate on that?
I don't know.
I thought the same thing, but I guess protein is, because she said it's like, it's basically protein, but with like chocolate flavor.
Yeah.
I guess protein is not flavored, maybe?
Well, she said it's protein, and then she's like, well, it's basically
It's
only
like
the state.
basically-
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe it's just like a pudding. I don't know. It didn't look good.
No.
The whole cake thing was like, and it was way too tall. It was like a big
Yeah.
It was tall and it had like a slant.
Yeah,
on
there's a
top.
little weird thing going on with it.
I guess that's what you get out of like space cake.
Yeah.
old space cake. Yes, to distract him to get his cake ready and everything. And he's like, how'd y'all know it was my birthday? And they're like all teasing him. And Mal says, oh, your arrest warrant pulled up and it had your birthday right there. And he's like, oh, cool.
Nice.
Okay. So he feels kind of like, okay, I guess I'm part of this criminal band now.
I have a little comment about the dinner scene.
Mhm.
I can't believe it's taking out River. So she was semi-normal in this. She was laughing along with everybody. She was getting the jokes. I thought that was interesting that she was laughing and understanding the jokes. She doesn't seem like somebody that would understand jokes. But like everything's very logical and whatever. But it was funny though when, because the first one, they said it was his birthday and he was like, how did you get it? And he looked at River thinking she told them and she gave her definition of a birthday.
Right.
And then she's like,
Which was way too much to write down. That's why I was like,
Right.
no.
I didn't write anything. The explanation of birthday, like anybody doesn't know what a birthday is, right? And then she says, I didn't get you anything, which was funny, I thought, because she went from this whole textbook, da 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 to, I didn't get you anything, which was more normal.
Right.
But she didn't even say it she said it in a very like meh
Yeah. I didn't get you anything.
way.
Yeah.
But she knew that she should have.
Yeah.
Or that's something that you do.
Yeah.
Because sometimes she feels
Right.
it's like she's a newborn baby, a deer or something. Like
You're telling me.
she doesn't know anything, but she knows everything.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Mal tells him it's because of his arrest warrant. And he's like, oh, okay, whatever. But then Jane's like, go ahead and just blow out your candles. Like, let's go. He wants to eat cake. And then as soon as Simon goes to do it, power cuts out. And then it's like, oh, okay. I think it was Mal that's like, what's going on? Kaylee's like, I'll go check it out.
Right.
As soon as that happens, ding dong goes fire. I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
I was
This
like,
plays into her like psychic.
right.
Right.
She has some kind of crazy stuff.
Yeah, because everybody else thought especially Simon thought she meant the candles.
Candles, yeah.
Yeah, and also Wash started to go up to the bridge because he wanted to see what was going to go on. So Kaylee said that she was going to go check out what was going on her end of stuff, and Wash was on his way up to the bridge to check out what the heck from his end what was going on. So they were both. So Kaylee was going one way to go out the door, and then Wash is going the back way.
Right. So then all of a sudden, explosion, fire. Thank you, River. Comes barreling through. I think Chloe or Kaylee.
Oh wait,
Kaylee, yeah.
So it was Kaylee. She was going out the door, but the fire. So Zoe pushed her out of the way. Zoe got fucked up by the blast or whatever.
Pressure, probably the force of coming through.
So everyone just got thrown all over the room. As soon as that happened, it wasn't like a panic or anything. Mal goes, Jane, go seal up everything right now, and he runs off to do something else. So leadership, right? They had an explosion. Oh yeah.
Mal, I think, took off to the bridge because Wash went to Zoe. Like, this is
Right.
Right.
He also yelled to everyone, close off. This
We told Jane to.
Yeah.
Well, and of course,
Well, he just yelled it out.
he ran right by Jane, and Jane's gonna.
So I feel like he told Jane to do it because Jane is, and I guess it kind of goes to it later in the episode, but Jane is a order, do it kind of guy.
So I feel like it has to do with the fact that it's like Mal, and then it's like Zoe and Jane and Wash.
Because he always takes Zoe and Jane whenever they go anyway.
Exactly. So I think Jane is automatically going to respond in that way because that's their dynamic naturally.
Yeah, and I also think that obviously, if it had been somebody else that got hit, Zoe would have probably been the one to run on
the run.
So now Jane's next up, and he, instinctively he knows, okay, I got to do shit because obviously if we die, we're all fucked.
Right.
So he understands the importance of what's going on.
Yeah. So I liked it. I think it was a very direct, Mal is a good leader. He doesn't respond to the emotional part. He's immediately this. Go.
Does Jane always have the facial hair in every episode?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
I think he's an attractive man anyway, but he looks really good with facial hair.
That's funny you say that because of later in the episode.
You thought he was attractive too?
No, because what Zoe said later when they have the flashback to Jane.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, got you. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. But maybe so. I don't know.
I've always thought Adam Mullen was attractive anyway. I mean, from all the way back when I saw him in Full Metal Jacket. I just seen him. I was like, oh, do you have much facial hair?
I think he did, honestly. Yeah. So, so Jane goes, he starts sealing everything up. Mal goes to do all that kind of stuff. It turns out, and I think it foreshadows, they open the gate or whatever. They're gonna suck the fire out with the oxygen. So fucking Simon, he's like, are you getting my medical kit? And Jane is like, no. And he's like, Zoe might die. And he's like, you open these doors, we're all gonna die. Because they're opening the vault to suck everything out. Right. Well, we flash back to Mal stumbling to the med bay. And we don't really know why. I guess the whole episode of him stumbling around, it's just...
You know why he goes to the med bay?
Well, I do later.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know,
It's just him entering the med bay right now.
That was a very short scene, right? Where he's the med bay doors open and then it cuts back to...
Yeah.
No, they shove Zoe in the med bay and the doc's working on her. Fucking Wash is freaking out. He's being kind of a bitch about it.
You would not want... Wait, if it were Jamison, you'd be like...
No, I get that. And I thought about that. I was like, 100%. But it's either she dies or everyone dies. Right. Don't be a dummy.
You have, for instance, Mal, Zoe, and Jane, I guarantee you, probably would have been, we're going to do whatever it is that we have to do to make sure everybody's fine, everybody's safe. But he is not of that
caliber.
Though Jane, I don't think he was in the military at all, because he said in the one episode that he didn't fight any wars. He has that mentality of chain of command and orders and doing things based on, logic rather than emotion. But Wash is not from that. He's just a pilot, just whatever.
Yeah.
He's going to be more focused emotion based when his wife is hurt than what's going to be best for everybody overall.
Now going to Kaylee about like what happened. That was a funny thing with me and you last night when I was drinking the weed drinks.
Well, it wasn't at that point.
No, it was. Yeah, there's been
There was
two
a second
visits,
time he
but like the first time, like Zoe's in the med bay and she's sitting there puppy dog eyed looking,
And Zoe's like,
and Mal's like, "You need to figure out what's going on."
And that's
Right.
when he went and talked to her. And then he goes,
Yeah.
"That's a good girl." And I was like, I literally went, "Oh my God." We're sitting on the couch watching it, and Christopher goes, "Yeah." And I was like, "Woo." I was like, "That was hot." I was like, "Okay."
Oh my gosh.
This show is spicy.
We try to not talk during the episodes, and last night was an exception because I was like every good female mechanic, now go on fix it, because it was harsh. It was like, "That's a good girl."
Yeah, but
Go on.
like
But it was hot.
in that way, like there's a way of saying it, and he said it just exactly in that way, and I was like, "Oh, yes, I will go fix it."
You want to go with me?
Yeah, right.
Please?
And I was hoping you would have picked up on that as well, because
I'll have to go watch it. I did not pick up.
oh my, dude, the tone, the way he looked at her, everything about it, I was like, wow.
Honestly,
I would love to fix it.
This was 100% one of those porn scene again. Like, that's what that was. We're flashing back to the first episode in Anara's building. Like this.
It's not going to fix it. You said, "Wah, wah, wah."
Well, I find that there's a lot of, as the show keeps going, I find very little of what Mel does to not be hot.
Yeah.
I find everything he does very attractive.
Well, it's just that, like, I think, man.
He's very manly.
Yeah.
He's very direct and control.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was
Good
pretty
leadership.
old-fashioned.
Like,
But
oh God, everybody's gonna be like,
I'm 50 fucking years old. I like old-fashioned. Whatever. I'm a Gen Xer. I'm not whatever these people are nowadays.
whatever these people are. I don't know. If you don't watch that scene and don't
That's why it's motherfucker's hot.
I can't believe you didn't catch that. We're gonna watch it
I
right
think-
after this.
Because I feel like, because I was focused so much on Kaylee and the two scenes where, if there were two, I guess. For some reason, I was focused more on Kaylee than Mal in the two episodes with them together.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was trying to pay attention to whatever she was saying about what was going on. Yeah.
You were
And I wasn't really paying as much attention to
So you
that.
missed out.
I'll have to go check it out after.
Babe, I'm about to go knock over my motorcycle and be like, "Now you go and fix it. We're all gonna die, okay?
You can't say it like that.
Now go and get it. Motorcycle don't work, I don't work, okay? Let's go."
Okay, we're gonna have to watch that scene after this.
That's how it goes.
It's not. He literally says, "That's a good girl."
That's a big girl. Now go and fix my fucking
No,
motorcycle.
he doesn't have to say that though.
But he doesn't even speak that.
No, he doesn't speak that at all. The accent is weird. To it. He doesn't sound
They
like
have that
ever.
no, because some of the times they bring that like New Orleans accent where it's like they shorten everything. Like,
Well,
but they said the moon don't work, we don't breathe. Ship don't work, we go night night. Kind of
That's
thing.
because
Kaylee absolutely does. She does that a lot. She doesn't say her G's at the end of certain words.
Yeah. She also, I feel like Kaylee's high all the time. There's sometimes her eyes are
Oh,
like
on there.
this when she talks.
You probably
She's
get
so,
Mel
like-
keeps telling her she's a good girl.
Oh yeah, she is high on life. Yeah, she is there.
Oh man.
Feeling good.
Man. I'm about to start creating more situations in life.
Just to call you a good girl.
Everything.
So if there is a second scene that's a different scene where she talks about, I have a comment on that part, but I guess I don't have a comment on this part. I wish I had a comment on this part.
Me neither. I was just gonna tell you
That was the
things
best
like
part.
your
of
girl.
it. No wonder it's the highest rated.
No. That's all women.
Yeah, they're like, yes.
Is that why you got up and had to leave
Like-
for a minute?
Alright, where
Okay.
the hell are we?
Okay, yeah, good point. So, literally in my notes, makes that's a good girl comment. So I guess past that. I kind of skipped the part where like him and Wash like get into it, and he's like, "Get up on the bridge,"
Oh,
and
yeah.
Wash is like, "No, I'm here with my wife," and it comes into a thing of like, it wasn't a ask, it's a demand.
Yeah. Which is like the second time he has said
Yeah,
that.
he has said
So,
that at least. I feel like it's not the second. He says it quite often.
Yeah, I
It's like
just
his
remember
thing.
one time specifically, but he's probably said it before, but other than twice.
Well, that's the and Wash is once again being a bitch. Like, I get it from your perspective. If Jamison laid out like, "Oh no, what do you need?" Like, I'm not a doctor. They have a doctor.
Right.
It's like, let's go fix the problem. That's how Mal is. And so he pretty much like gets in his face, like grabs his clothes and shoves them against the wall. And it's like, no, you're going to go do your fucking job. And that's that.
I also,
And then-
that scene I liked, I'm glad they swept around because I wanted to see everyone's expression from Mal doing that. For some reason, I just wanted to see.
What'd you catch? Because I didn't pay attention to that.
Well, I just well, I was kind of waiting for Jane because I didn't know if Jane was going to say something because he likes that kind of thing. Jane does. And I don't know, sometimes he'll be snarky about it, like make a little sarcastic remark. But of course, I think that things were a little too fragile at that point for him to say anything. I don't know. There was just a look on, some of them were like, but Jane was like, yeah,
Yep.
yeah, get your shit up and go do your job. But yeah, I like that scene again, being manly.
Very much. You two. With fucking Mal. So yeah, they do what Mal says.
I would too.
Well, there you go. And my notes end in Wash is a bitch. So, and he goes and does what Mal says. They flash to like when they met Wash, like as a pilot. And I did think this was funny because I thought about you too, like in a way. First of all, Wash had a gnarly mustache.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I like the mustache.
Yeah.
I thought it was
I thought it was cool too.
In Hawaiian
yeah.
shirt. Totally makes sense.
Right.
It's his body.
right.
Yeah.
And he's like, they bring him on the ship and he's like beat-bopping all the controls and stuff like that. And he's like, oh yeah, it's fucking, I can do this. And this baby's got potential and blah, blah. Mal and Zoe are like, okay, cool. We'll like fiddle with it. We're going to go talk. And they go out and Zoe's like, I don't like him. And Mal is like, dude, he's got so many recommendations. All these crews are trying to take him. Like, there's nothing like that says
only
no.
one that
Yeah.
seems to have a problem with it.
And she's like, something about him. I just don't like him. But I was like, that something was her affection to him.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I
She
get it.
probably
I like that.
there was probably an instant chemistry, and then she was like, "Fuck."
Yeah.
But Zoe being that like strong,
Right.
very independent woman, she's like, didn't know what to do with it. She's like, I don't like him.
No, like, yeah.
And then it's just like,
Or she was trying to hide it, like she didn't want
Uh,
to know that she either from herself or from Mal.
Right.
Like,
Well, it's like,
I don't
know.
yeah, like how
the exact opposite of what I'm thinking is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
seemed very genuine to me.
Mhm.
And I feel like it was just like her being such a like a second in command. She didn't know what to do with that emotion. She's like, I don't like it. So it flashes back after he sent Wash to go do his job. Mal steps in to be Wash, basically. Like he's gonna help whatever Zoe
Simon.
needs. Simon. Mal's like, what do you need? And Simon's like, I need the big old shot.
Every time I see that, I think
Ugh.
of picture.
I thought the same exact thing.
Every time.
That thing was gnarly looking. But apparently they give her a big old adrenaline shot, whatever, right? And I think so it goes back to the present, and that's why he's in the med bay.
Right.
Because he's doing that to himself. He's getting another one of those shots and like boom, boom. Which,
Do it to yourself is gotta be rough.
well, there's that. And I personally am not a doctor.
What?
I know.
I just made an appointment at your office.
I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know doctor stuff, but I know the heart pumps blood. Blood carries oxygen. Am I correct so far?
Uh-huh.
Cool. So if you do
We're not
adrenaline,
doctors either, so-
Yeah.
oh, Jesus.
Go ahead.
If you do adrenaline to make your heart pump faster, it's pumping blood, but if the blood has no oxygen, you're not doing anything.
Well, I think the adrenaline is just so he can keep going. I don't think it was.
Well,
for
that's the
oxygen.
point, but I'm talking about from like a...
You think he needs more oxygen to really...
I don't think that shit would work.
I think he needed the adrenaline more for probably.
Yes, but he's saying, would the adrenaline work considering that he doesn't have that much oxygen left anyways?
Right.
I don't think adrenaline requires oxygen. All I'm going on right now is Dr. Tarantino when he in Pulp Fiction did what?
Okay.
When you didn't get it?
No, I knew.
Okay. When she was down, she was out. I don't even think she was breathing. So she's getting no oxygen at all.
But there's oxygen in the room.
If you're not breathing it in, it's not doing shit for you. So they put the adrenaline right directly into her heart. Boom, 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 boom. And she was like, so.
Okay, maybe.
But adrenaline does a lot of things. Who knows what he was doing it for? I feel like he was doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I know he was trying to
stamina,
just
the energy to keep going.
keep
It
going.
probably helped with the pain too, because when you got adrenaline, there's shit you don't feel.
Right.
So
Which, once again, I'm not a doctor.
nor am I. But,
I don't.
all I know is Pulp Fiction.
I went to the school of Pulp Fiction.
Next scene, Kaylee and Mal come together. Basically, Kaylee tells him everything's fucked.
Yeah. Do you know what's fucked?
The alternator.
Well, no.
No.
But what the original thing that's fucked is that compression coil that she's been asking for since episode 1.
Oh, really? I didn't catch that.
Yeah, whatever the thing is was on the compression coil. And I was like, because the first time I watched it, I was like, did she say?
Oh, that's awesome.
And then the second time I watched it, I was like,
That
oh,
makes
she did
sense.
say compression coil.
Yeah, good for them.
Yeah. Good for Kaylee. She was right the whole time. But yeah,
Dang, I wish I had caught that because that's pretty cool.
Which is kind of interesting because she talks about, like, I don't understand how I didn't catch it, but it's like she clearly did.
yeah.
She has that guilt trip, but that's
Yeah. I
Dumb.
get it.
right.
Yeah.
No, basically, her and Mal, they have like a one-on-one, and she's like, "It's fucked," and he's like, "What's fucked?" She's like, "This thing looks like an alternator."
Mhm.
He's like, "Where does it go?" He's like, "Right here, but it doesn't fit. So we got to fix it." She's like, she basically says some shit just can't be fixed.
Yeah.
Like, it's broke. You need a new one. We got to figure something out. And she's like, well, the bottom line is we have hours left, right? So,
Air problem.
right, yeah, because without the engine, there's a life support. Their backup was fried in the
Fried.
explosion.
Yeah.
So
And then-
everything's fucked.
And then plus when they let all the fire out, the fire sucked up all the oxygen too. And
Correct.
Pull it out, yeah.
Yep, exactly. Ariana comes on deck.
Who?
Ariana.
Nara.
Shout out Ariana. Ariana.
Nara.
Ianara comes to the deck on, she starts talking to the doctor. And the doctor, who is also a bitch, starts venting and everything, being super concerned to Anara. Yeah, it's my birthday and fucking, and this is how we're gonna die. And she's like, literally, she's like, I don't need that right now, like at all. You're good, I appreciate it, but no thanks. And then Shepard obviously is praying River.
Another scene that's hilarious. I was like, I can't wait for Christopher to pick one this scene.
And she's right. She's like, basically, you scared you're gonna die? And he's like, yeah. He's like, thanks for coming over. And she's like, well, that's why you're reading, but you're still scared.
Mhm.
And he's like, yes, River.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I get it. And she's like, listen. And I thought it was funny because she has like that future sight with the fire thing. So when she first said it, I was like, oh, she's like, don't worry, we're not going to die of suffocation.
Right.
Oh, she's seeing the future. She's like, we're going to die of freezing because it's cold. I was like, oh my God. And literally, where the fuck did she go? To the pantry to get a snack? It's just like,
Take the label off your
Yeah.
hand. I got
Yeah.
nothing better to do right now. But,
Oh
yeah,
my
that
God.
was, I just thought it was funny because I was like, yeah, thanks, River.
yeah, no problem. I'm about to get a snack or whatever the fuck she did.
Up to herself.
Yeah.
Killing. She like lifted the hopes up and then just completely destroyed it.
Yeah.
Which, that is pretty funny, but
Yeah.
still, fuck River. She rolls out. Mal and Wash are arguing again about this signal and like setting everything up, and they're going back and forth, and basically Mal is like, just fucking fix it, dude.
Right.
And he's like, what am I supposed to do? And he's like, why don't you just revert the shit to the fucking whatever things?
Right.
And he's like, well, if I do that, all the ships are going to have to stop and they have to go to our location before their map set. And Mal's like, right.
I like this scene. I thought it was funny because they were,
Because it was like two
Yelling?
brothers like
Yeah.
bickering almost.
and they were yelling back and forth. But as soon as Wash said, well, if I do that, then they're going to have to stop and then have to dish out our signal. Mal's like, and he's like, but you could tell he figured it out.
Like,
But he's still,
click.
well, maybe I will go do that. Like he knew it, but he was yelling.
Yeah. And then Jane, my man, comes in.
Yeah.
Why are you guys arguing right now? It's up all the air.
Yeah.
He just rolls out.
This is one of my comments. Jane, the one with the sense at the moment.
Right.
What?
All of a sudden. Yeah.
Talking with some sense.
Loved it. Yeah, you can use up all the air. What are you doing? Just rolls out. It's like, well, he's right. So Mal's back. He's stumbling through everything. When he goes back to meeting Kaylee. So I thought this was funny because apparently he had a mechanic. He was literally the chillest surfer from Point Break, straight out of the movie.
Yeah.
But it was funny because Mel called him a genius. I was
Yeah.
like, this guy's
Right.
an idiot.
Yeah.
Dumbass. And he's got a triangle tattoo on his nipple.
Yeah,
which
he
I
had like
noticed. I was
tribal looking,
solid.
like one went down here and then up through the middle of his
Mhm.
chest, and then he had one around his nipple, and then of course he had the thing on his face.
Yeah.
But it was all very almost interesting tribal.
Yeah. So I thought that was fun. But apparently, like in that scene, he's boning Kaylee.
Well, he's boning some girl. We don't know it's Kaylee. It's
Yeah.
just hidden there.
Turns out.
You are the worst with spoilers.
Sorry.
You do it all the time.
Well, that's just it. I mean, he's boning Kaylee
Right.
in the engine. Mal is like, he's fussing at the mechanic. He's like, you're literally fucking some girl. Get my shit back right.
Just figured 2 weeks ago.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know what to tell you. It's fuck. And she's like, it's not.
She's like, it's this.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was really funny.
This thing I saw, I was laying on my back.
I thought that was hilarious, actually. I was like, oh, that's pretty good. Yes. She's like, no, I was on my back. I saw the coil of the doohickey. And so she literally like, 1, 2, 3, plug. You don't need this part. Wah,
Yeah.
go. And it starts up. And Mal like starts asking her, like, you've been in space. He's like, basically, do you want a job?
Right.
And she's like, I gotta ask my daddy first. I was like, okay.
The
But,
doofus.
right.
What are you two mechanics for?
That I like that part the best. Yeah, he's like, Mal, what do you need to make it for? He's like, I reckon I don't.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you're fired.
Yeah.
It was actually his introduction that surprised me for a second. I was not expecting it to be that guy when he said, "Really, we got a genius mechanic," and then he walks through. I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
like Kaylee."
Yeah.
But I do like that. That's the way they went with it.
Yeah.
I meant to look up that dude, but I didn't find anything. There were not very many good actors from, like, there were extras in this season or show.
I do like the way that they did that too, going back to that with introducing Kaylee, because I feel like now Kaylee isn't portrayed that way.
Yeah, I was shocked that I was not expecting him. You talking about the sex?
Yeah. Just because she's very like little girl.
She's just very interested. She thinks very innocent.
Yes.
And when it ended up being her, 'cause I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting it to be her.
So going into it, I was like, I wonder if this is going to be Kaylee, even though it's going to be kind of weird.
Yeah, and then I was like, wait, this is Kaylee? Because she does not seem like a fairy harpy. Is that what he called her? A fairy harpy.
Maybe.
He's like, get your fairy harpy. Before you saw her, he's like, get your fairy harpy off my boat.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah. But she does not seem like someone who would just be randomly fucking guys.
Yeah, in an engine room.
Yeah.
Like, whatever, yeah. So,
But I should have caught on when he said she's really into engines before he showed her. I was like, why did I not catch on to that?
Yeah.
Nor do I understand at that point why she's into Simon, this fucking nerd. That part does not make sense.
Well, there's this thing that I like to call proximity attraction. It's happened to me a few times where we work constantly in a small, place, and there aren't any other things going on. Aren't any other people. You find yourself attracted to whomever is there, and
you're actually attractive, okay? It's different.
I've had that happen to me a few times.
I've had it happen and they're not attractive.
No.
Very much proximity attraction.
Yeah, it's like, and she's got limited resources. Like, she's not going to be with Jane. She's not going to be with Shepard. So she's got Simon
or Mal.
Well, there's Mal, but I'm sure she knows I'm sure she senses Mal.
She should sense something else.
Mal and Inara's chemistry going
I don't
on.
know. I feel like they got chemistry.
But I think that you just need the only dude on the ship.
Right.
There's another flash to like Mal like carrying that part to the engine room, the alternator, and he fucking drops it
Yeah.
like down to what I would when you get your car or when we got the car changed at that oil place,
Yeah. It's got the thing underneath it.
you drop it into that.
Yeah.
And I think I literally said, I was like, God damn it, Mal. Like, way to go. So yeah, he literally drops the whole entire part that saves his life into a engine oil bay. So then it goes down to Mal giving everyone basically like a rundown of what's going on. Like, as the captain. He's like, here's the deal. Ship's fucked. We're out of air in soon. And we need to look at what we have, not what we don't have. So we got 2
Shuttles.
and he was like, I want Shepard, Kaylee, Jane, and Honora to go in one shuttle. He's like, I want Wash, Zoe, Huck, and River to go in another shuttle. Y'all are going in opposite directions. It's a better chance of y'all to like get picked up by your distress signal or whatever. No, like, what about you? He's like, I have to be here just in case someone picks up our distress signal because it's strong, like they boosted it or whatever.
This made me think of, though, just as you were talking about it, is if River has this premonition, psychic ability, why didn't she just know that
We were going to be good.
it was going to work out? Why didn't she just say, we don't have to do this because the boost is going to work and somebody's going to show up. They're going to be assholes, but somebody's going to show up. Like, why didn't she know this?
Because no one asked Ding Dong what's going on.
No one does it. She still gives us her
But she
2 cents all the time.
already. Well, the thing is she already.
She used up her one premonition for the day, which is at fire.
Literally.
And that we.
What's she gonna say on the second one? Safe. Okay.
The only thing is like she said to Shepard, "Oh, we're not going to die of suffocation. We're actually going to freeze it up."
But I don't think that was a premonition. I think that was just her being smart. She knows
Like,
that
no,
this is
that
what's
is-
going to happen. But why didn't she just have a premonition like, oh, it's going to work out fine? I knew, even though it was sad and kind of heart-wrenching throughout it because of what was going on,
Yeah.
I knew everything was going to turn out fine.
I'm trying to remember because I can't remember because she's had other moments like this, but I can't remember off the top of my head how quickly the thing happened. Because the thing with the fire happened and then it almost immediately happened. So maybe her time frame on it
Might be.
is not very big
Yeah.
yet
Maybe.
to where she can only do it in like
Something that's relatively
Like,
like just about to
watch
happen. Yeah.
Like when she was freaking out in the one, was it Bushwhacked, where they found the Reaver guy and she was feeling everything he was feeling. That was almost exact time.
Yeah, like at the same time.
Yeah.
Maybe
Right.
so.
So I feel like she can kind of predict, but not that
Yeah.
far in advance.
All right.
Maybe so.
I'll take that.
I don't know. Like they could have
Split up.
send them both. Nara has an argument with Mal, of course. No, come with us. Blah blah blah. And then it flashes back to how him and her met.
That's the funny scene.
Yeah, Anora's all, looking at the little shuttle, showing around. She basically gets to, I have demands.
Right.
He's like, okay, what's up? He's like, number one, everything in my little shuttle, that's private. Y'all can't, come in.
You just walk in whenever you want.
Right. And he's like, all right, whatever. She's like, number two, I didn't know how to write this, but I was like, basically, she's not going to fuck the crew or.
Right.
And he made me laugh. He's like, all right, I'll put up a sign. Which I thought was hilarious. I was like, that's
She's
not
a good
perfect.
girl, but not for you.
Right.
Right.
That was cool. They're like going back and forth of like, well, I'm going to review everything. And she's like, no, you're going to hire me.
Yeah.
And he's like, what are you talking about?
At the
She's
quarter.
kind of, yeah, at the quarter of the rate you're watching.
Quarter off of what you're asking for.
Yeah. She's using her charm from the other episode. She's like, I know you need me on this ship. I know it would be valuable. And she's like, and furthermore, I'm going to bring you respectability.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. But it's basically the thing we've always known is that she's going to
has
help them
this-
get on the good
yeah.
planets because
Right.
she's a respected.
Yeah. She made another comment in this scene that,
Yes.
well, there's two,
Yeah.
I think, that you're thinking of. But we both reacted to after the comment that Mal made to Kaylee. She made a comment to him, and I was like, wow, this episode. I can't remember what that
Yeah, I can't
first
either,
comment was.
actually, because it was really funny.
It was when she was in the control room of her shuttle. She had made a comment. And then later, when he was like, I'll review everything, she was like, no, you want me.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a
Right.
Yeah.
her way of being like, you want me.
You
like,
want me in two kind of
Yes.
ways.
Yeah.
But
I didn't write the other.
do you have the part
Yeah.
where he calls, where he's like, do you whore around? Do you have that part in there?
Basically, like that's their addendum.
Yeah.
Addendum? Addendum?
Addendum? Oh, what are you trying to say?
They edit the rules.
Yeah, he added a new rule to her
Yeah,
set of rules.
that is then.
Yeah, and because he said something about her whoring around, whatever, and she said that was the last time he called me.
Which is not the last time he did.
But the funny
Hold
thing
on.
is everything that's on there, except for the I'm not gonna have sex with you. She hasn't had sex with anybody on the ship, but all the rules don't come into my thing without asking. Don't,
He breaks.
They're all
he's
broken.
broke. He's like he agrees, but he's not complying with a single one.
Yet.
Yeah. Right.
Because Mal's getting that in before the end of the season.
Will
Guaranteed.
say too. I will
I thought I
say,
called it.
we totally forgot about the comment that was made at the dinner table.
Which
Him and Inara.
Yeah,
Jay
yeah.
made the comment to her about her having funny sex stories or horror stories. Horror stories.
Horror story.
Whoring.
Horror
Funny.
stories, yes. I fucked all that up all the time.
That's the funniest horror story I've ever.
Yeah. So anyways, when he made that comment, she said something about how a companion doesn't kiss and tell. Mal was like, oh, so there is kissing. And he made a little smirk.
But there was a funny little
Because
smirk. It wasn't like that weird.
No, it was a smirk of, I knew you kissed me in that other episode.
I didn't catch that.
I know you didn't.
I didn't take it as that. I just took it as him being.
No, I definitely
shut
took
away.
it as that.
I still don't think he knows.
I don't think he knows either.
I think he knows. There was way too much tension in that scene for him to not
They
know.
did say something funky, though, that we were both just like, God, no.
Yeah, she said something about
In the
something.
dinner scene?
No.
No,
In
it was-
their-
yeah.
Their
Yeah.
scene where they should have fucking
Well-
told each other how they felt.
I feel like it was something about. I don't know.
We'll watch it when we play back the other scene for Mom.
We'll tell you next week.
Yeah. This
There's
scene,
something
though,
wrong
is a
with
scene that I had a comment on because I was like, they're both possibly about to die. And neither of them is willing to at least
Just say
discuss,
something.
say something.
Like, I'm into you
Yeah.
anyway, yeah.
No.
I love you.
Right.
Make out for a minute. Whatever.
Don't need that.
Yeah. You could
Get
tell
on the
that
show.
You can tell
she
Inara.
wanted to.
Yeah. Because she was like, you know that adding one more person to my shuttle is not going to make a difference. Like, just, you don't have to die alone.
But there was that point where that she was looking at him and he said, there's no need for talking. She wanted to say something about how she felt about him. He probably knew she wanted to say something and then he cut it out. She's like,
It's getting tense towards the end of the season. So, yeah, but what y'all said, she's basically leading, like, it's not going to make a difference. Everyone, come on. But that was the thing. And she's like, you don't have to.
The ship.
Right. It's not like that. She's like, you don't have to die alone. Now, everyone dies alone.
Yeah, right.
Now it's a good girl, now go and get on your shuttle. However it works for y'all.
Never talks like that.
And then so it basically is also like, I kind of skipped the part, but like Wash has rigged a button on the
Right.
helm to like, if they get help or get a signal, you like push the button and call everyone back. So this is my really good trivia for this episode. Actually, I liked it. So the actor for Wash,
right.
his name I did not write down.
Alan Tudyk.
Yep.
Or Tudyk. I'm not sure I said it.
So he stole the button from the set, like the whole box and button and everything. After the show was over, he mailed it to the director because at that point they knew like they were canceled. And one of the famous the quote from watching that show, the quote is, "When you get your miracle, just hit this."
Right.
And that was like a thing for like if you want to have a second season, right? So he sent the director the prop and a note.
Right.
With
So
the-
even though they were canceled, just in case by some miracle they
Yeah.
decided to go ahead.
No.
I thought that was dope.
That's cute.
I was like, even though you're a bitch in the show, you're a nice guy in real life. Cuts to they're getting in the shuttles. Jane, my dude, he's going over Mal. He's like, listen, I reverted all the air into the bridge. Go ahead and shut all the doors as you're coming up. It might buy you a little time. Which part?
I had a comment about something later, but now that you're saying that, I'm like, oh, okay. But I missed it both times, apparently. I watched it. I'll tell you once we get to that part what I thought.
I have a comment, but
So Jane he's like, I put all the air to the bridge. As you go up, I would shut all the doors behind you. I've got you a suit prep just in case the time comes. You can get the suit, buy yourself extra time. And him and Mal look at each other, and Jane goes, "Well," and he goes.
Yeah.
And I was like, "That's perfect." But I was like, "Man, that's like his character. He's done all this stuff to help through actions,
Right.
but with words,
Yeah.
it's like, well,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so
You still get the feeling that he cares. Like he's
no, right."
Yeah.
And it's all through what he does, not what he says.
Right. And
Which
then
is like, and it's been shown the whole show, like he talks worth shit.
right. Yeah, yeah. But I'm sure he's concerned about whether or not Mal's gonna make it.
Right.
Yeah.
And he just goes, "Well," and then he leaves. I was like, "Yeah, I get it." So everybody leaves, like the shuttles go, and Mal falls asleep on the bridge after he locks everything up. He's woken up by a broken transmission from another ship, and the captain is like basically AIMing him, "Hey, what's up?" But like video, and he kind of like comes to, and the ship is like right up front of their cockpit, and they're having the conversation, and he's like, basically, how can I trust you? And he's like, "You've scanned my ship, like I literally just need this part."
And neither of my shuttles are on here,
Yeah.
Right. Obviously.
And he said something else too, because I think it can, when they scan it, can it check to see that like the engine and stuff isn't working? Yeah, I think he made a comment about something like that as well.
And then he said, the other captain, he's like, "I think we can do business." And Mal is like, "Well, I expect to see that part before I open the door."
Yeah.
But I thought it was funny. The other dude never said what he wanted.
The retractor part.
Right.
Well, I think my assumption, I figured he was going to be a shithead. But I also thought if he isn't a shithead, maybe he's just out of the nicest of his heart. But I feel like those scavenger ships probably don't do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. Go forward to that, how he met Jane, which I thought was a very funny scene. They're being held, him and Zoe, they're being held up by a guy, another guy, and Jane. And Jane is being like, he doesn't know how to talk. He's
Right.
like, "Where is it? Or I'll shoot you." And Mal is like, "Well, it's not going to do very good shooting us if you don't know where it is."
And he
You
said
know.
something too. He had something to say where he said the same
said,
word
like,
twice.
Yeah. He said like some inspirational thing almost.
Right.
And I was like, wow, this sounds just like Jane. And so we made pretty much that same comment, like, wow. So
Well said.
inspirational, well said. She was like, "Don't you agree, Mal?" And I was like, "Yeah, for sure." But then
Right.
everybody knew, like, it was
Yeah.
not.
That was funny. So during like that, like Mal, because I said the other episode, Mal's a salesperson.
Right.
And so he like sees it in Jane, and he's like, "How much are you making?" Jane's like 7%. And Mal goes, "Ooh, okay."
You're
And Jane's like, "What?" And he's like, "No. That's
So-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like that. So it's all like a subtle thing to like,
You got your own room. You got
Yeah.
this, you got that.
and he's like, "You got your own room at least, right? You bunk with somebody?"
Yeah.
Jane's like, "Yeah." It's like a ugly, bearded, like,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Let me tell you what. If you let us go, I get to show you where everything is. You get your own bunk and blah, blah,
Right.
blah." And his like leader of his crew, of Jane's crew, he's like, "Jane, don't let it go." Pow.
That hesitation. He's like, "Yep."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, "A bigger room." So I did like that. That was a good like insight of him and Jane's like relationship. After that flashback, this crew who's like, "How do we know you're not going to ambush us when we get on your ship?" Right. And I was like, "You scan the ship, you're good." They come on, as soon as they open the door, it's like guns. And then he's like, "Oh, God damn it." So they've done exactly what they were
Right.
planning. Right.
So is this when you got by an ambush?
Right. Which I would have been pissed. I was pissed during the episode, but
Right.
I was like, "God damn it." Basically, he's like, "Just, whatever, take what you want." And they're like, "No, we're going to take everything." And they shoot him. Immediately enough, when Mal is shot and falls, there's a gun
Take to the under-
within arm's reach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, good planning for him, I guess.
Maybe they have it.
Maybe he did.
Yeah.
Maybe before he let him on the ship, maybe he put it there.
Oh, maybe.
Or I feel
I don't
like
know.
maybe it's something that's always there because that's like their door that they come in and out of. So I feel like it might be
Maybe.
like a safety thing.
Kind of like gun at the front door.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
So basically, like, they shoot him. They're like, "No, we're taking your shit." And then, but I loved this part. So at that point, when they shot him, he falls, and that's where the episode starts.
Yeah.
I thought that was awesome like editing and planning. I thought that was really cool.
Well, he gets them. He uses his gun, and I thought this was kind of
Oh yeah.
because they all had guns.
Right.
I guess
so. It was like 1v5 or something.
Right. Now, of course, he'd get one shot off, and he's dead. But I guess that each of them is very important to the other because they did not want to lose one of them.
Well, they just sat down there like, yeah, whatever.
Otherwise, yeah,
we'll roll.
he's way
Yeah.
outnumbered. Right.
So yeah, they left willingly
You're right. Yeah, as soon as he got shot and he got that gun, he got back up and they all were just
and leave
like,
the
okay.
thing.
Yeah, he's like, leave the part. And he was like, yeah, whatever, I'm not trying to lose anything over this.
Right. It also was really nice when they first opened the doors when they came on,
That air.
that nice rush of air.
Right.
And I was like, oh.
Yep.
I was like, thank God, I didn't even think about that.
So they leave. Is stumbling to install this part because he's dug it out of that place he dropped it from or whatever. I think I made the comment to you when we were watching. I was like, I love how he can barely walk if he's about to install this ridiculous carburetor on this fucking entire spaceship.
Right.
Well, one thing that I wish he would have done, but I understand why he didn't. I wish instead of going straight to the engine room, he would have pressed the button first,
Yeah.
went to the engine room. So then if he had gotten to the engine room and ran out of air, at least the other shuttles would have gotten back and Kaylee could have come in and finished it and been there. I wish he would have done it that way. But obviously that's like how I would have done it,
So I thought about that and I was curious because all that's keeping the air from coming is the engine moving, right?
Right.
He started the engine. Why did he not have air?
Oh, like after the fact to get back to the button.
He got shot.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it.
I thought about that as well, but then I also thought about the fact that he was shot. So
I guess you're right. Yeah. Because he spoiler alert, he fixes the motor. He puts the alternator in. Whatever. And then he's like, he's going to go press the button to call the ships back. And it's so dramatic. And
he
2
falls,
steps before?
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bitch. So close. But he passes out.
Right.
And so then he wakes up, and I feel some type of way about this too. So he comes to, and he's in the medical bay, and everyone's around him. And he's like, what's going on? I guess more or less, Zoe's like, sorry, sir, I made the decision. I guess she woke up on one of the shuttles and said, everybody turn around and go help Mal.
Yeah.
Fucking worst leadership decision I've ever heard in my life.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, that's why they went back. Cause
I was wondering how they decided to come back.
Zoe made the decision to turn around and go back. Once she came to, whatever,
Came
her full
to.
consciousness, I guess. I don't know. She decided to turn around and go
That
back.
makes sense. So I was
So-
wondering
Yeah.
what.
So I will say on camera, Zoe is a shit leader. Was going to sacrifice everyone on the crew just to go back to that maybe Mal is okay. She had no idea. I don't like Zoe anymore. Shocking.
Oh my god.
Don't like her.
Good though, but she has a loyalty to him. So yeah, she wanted to go back.
What about to everyone else?
Well, it was just originally going to be the 4 of them. What caused the other 4 to go back? I don't remember. Unless Zoe.
Fucking Jane said Anara had a problem with the shuttle or something.
No,
Maybe.
it's still funny. And she was like, it's incense. So, who's worse?
Yeah.
But I don't know if Zoe told the other ship to go back too, or if she was just going to take their ship back and maybe go pick up Mal or something.
I don't know. But I think bad decision.
It's not her fault. They wrote it that way.
I'm just saying. Oh, I missed this part too. Speaking of Zoe. Zoe is unconscious for most of the episode. She was actually on her honeymoon with
Lawrence Fishburne.
who is in the Matrix.
We've had this conversation.
Damn it.
You're the reason I even know she's married.
Yeah. They were on their honeymoon during this episode, so that's why she's unconscious most of it.
That's why she's not in most. That's why you hardly see her. She just did a little few scenes and then.
Which, if anyone didn't know, Lawrence Fishburne is Morpheus in the Matrix.
You remember that part because you didn't know that. When we
Love
talked
that
about it.
movie.
Well, you didn't remember that when we first talked about it. You were like,
Not by name, but I saw his
"Who was
picture
it?"
on
And I said,
IMDb.
Morpheus? You're like, oh, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And so I'm disappointed in Zoe this episode. I think she did a shitty job as co-captain. Mal woke up and he's like, basically like, oh, thanks guys, y'all gonna be here when I wake up. And
Yeah.
Shepard's like, Of course we will, bud. Good. Going back to sleep. And the episode ends. Nobody died. Everyone's happy.
Right.
The end until next week.
So my other comment that I was wrong about, because I didn't realize when you were talking about Jane, when Jane was talking to Mal about, I closed this off and I diverted all the air to the bridge. I completely missed that part. So when Mal was on his way up there to take his, nap, he's closing all the doors. I'm like, why do you want to close all the doors? I was like, you're going to have just the air that's in there. Don't you? I mean, not that there may not be a lot out there, but at least leave it open in case, someone wants to come this way. How it works. I was like, why is he closing it all off? Now you're just sectioning yourself to this room. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, because Jane put everything to the bridge.
Yeah, I didn't catch that part. In the 2 times I watched it, I don't know why. So, anybody comments? How did you feel about this episode?
I think everyone's a bitch but Jane.
You like Mal too.
Mal did a good job this episode. He was a very good leader. I'm still skeptical.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked that we were able to see the whole how they all got on the ship.
Yeah. Besides, like, the doctor and the shepherd, like,
We already
gave
know
the
how they
background to, like, the main characters.
Right.
That
We
was
know
cool.
how they got on the ship. Yeah. The doctor and
Oh, no, I'm saying, like, it was, like, we had that, like, it, yeah.
Remember that episode?
Maybe. No, it was nice to see, like, the background of the main characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always like it when shows do that and you get to see the origin story. So, all right, then we have some other comments. Thanks for joining us on this journey through Firefly. We hope you enjoyed our breakdown of Out of Gas. Next week, we'll be tackling Ariel, where the crew takes on a high-stakes heist in the Central Planets. Make sure to tune in, and as always, keep listening so we don't become a one-season wonder ourselves. Bye.
Bye. Go and get Mexican. NP.